Welcome back, Mr. Sajedi, on our interview series on Aleksandr Dugin's philosophy, geopolitical ideas and religious aspects for an kind of expansionist Russia, which we will focus on. So now, part two, we focused on his philosophical aspects and geopolitical aspects. Where can you just repeat in like two sentences, two aspects of what was important to you in part two concerning Dugin's philosophy?
Yes, thank you, and you're welcome. Yes, we talked about Mr. Putin and Mr. Dugin and their relationship, and I described as, that I narrated the description that he is described as the second brain or out-of-body brain of the Mr. Putin, because the people, the strategists believe that the new foreign policy and the military policy of the Russia is outlined by the ideas, based on ideas of the Mr. Dugin. And Mr. Dugin has been described of having a significant influence over Mr. Dugin, yes, is described to have influence over Russian President Mr. Putin. And I said that because his books are taught in Russian universities in the field of foreign policy and military universities. That's why we believe that there is a generation shaped in Russia in the field of foreign policy and military, that this generation are trained with the teachers of the Mr. Dugin. And Mr. Dugin, if we have to say, has established a new thinking paradigm about the Eurasianism and Neo-Eurasianism and enmity with the West, because as he described by himself, he is going to establish a type of collectivism, and I think that is a Russian version of collectivism, and also he's going to start a new international order, and in this case, the old, or I mean that the current international order in this eyes is old, and this order should be stopped, should be disrupted, and maybe this change, this transition will be through in a big war, maybe. But he claims that Russia avoids the war, but maybe in transitional period of changing between two eras, and a big war is unavoidable.
Right. So now we know a little bit more about Mr. Dugin's philosophy. We know about his geopolitical views. And you mentioned that there is a third aspect, a third field, which he misuses to promote Russian dominancy, which is religion. Can you precise on his views on religion, how he misuses Orthodox Christianity?
Yes, if you remember, in last time I showed you a map, and in the map Moscow was indicated as the third Rome. And the third Rome is a concept that originates from the Russian historical and religious thought, and adopted and employed by the Mr. Aleksandr Dugin. The point is that they believe that the Moscow should be third Rome, or is the third Rome, and the first Rome, you know, that is the the first church after Christ 2000 years ago that was felt. And then the second Rome is the Byzantine Empire, which during the dark centuries, the Middle Age centuries was central, was considered as the center for the Christianity. And when after the overthrow of the Byzantine, the monks and the clerics of the Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, they expected that Moscow should be the center of the Christianity. And now they believe that the West, by taking the centrality of the Christianity in Rome, in Vatican, they betrayed the Christianity. And this idea is an hidden idea in the Orthodox, and they thought that there is a mission assigned by God, is a divine mission assigned for Russia to save the world ever. And Mr. Putin has taken these elements of the Russian Orthodox beliefs and geopoliticalized this idea.
You mean Mr. Dugin?
Mr. Dugin, yes. Sorry, that sometimes I confuse with two names.
Yes, they're very similar. They're very similar.
Yes, Mr. Dugin has taken these elements of the Orthodox thinking, Orthodox beliefs, and geopoliticalized in the favor of his idea, Neo-Eurasianism. And in combination with the other two parts, I mean that the fourth theory and the Neo-Eurasianism in geopolitical, he has made a system of thinking in which Russia has to save the world from the Antichrist. An Antichrist in his idea is the West, United States, and the West are a manifestation of Antichrist, but he describes also the modernity, the individualism, the liberalism as another manifestations of the Antichrist. And they believe that the Western Church is the main cause of a decay in the morality by promoting the relativity. This is the first element in religious thought of the Mr. Dugin, and the second element is an apocalyptus idea which has taken from the Mr. Heidegger. And I explained that Mr. Heidegger in previous session that he believed that the technology has put an end point and finish point to the thinking, to the philosophy. And if philosophy stops, no idea will be produced. That is that the machine and the technology will take the destiny of the mankind over. Yes. And that's why maybe we are in the last days of the history. Our history is going to be ended, and we have to expect another era of the history. This is the total political, philosophical idea, but is compatible with the religious Russian thoughts also, because they believe also that we have to have another movement to save the world. And Mr. Putin has combined these two ideas, which
Mr. Dugin.
Mr. Dugin, sorry. Mr. Dugin has combined these two ideas with each other and make a new idea that the Russia should maybe should accelerate the coming of the new era and the new order. He describes the old era or the old history as current order, international order. The international order in Mr. Dugin's eyes is an unipolarity, and I explained about also the concept of Dasein last time, that Mr. Heidegger takes the existence as an essence, undividable essence, and total abstracted. But when this abstract essence is manifested in humanity, then we have Dasein, and Dasein means being there. And because of however the existence is undividable and abstracted, but when is manifested in the human, each human has own characteristics which should be kept against the pressure of the layers from the society and from the state. Mr. Dugin takes this concept and said that the countries and the traditions and the nations across the globe, they have to take and they have to preserve their own roots, their own traditions against the aggression of the Western values, of the Western aggression, Western invasion. They said that each society should take his own identity and not be dissolved in the Western identity. From the combination of these two ideas, he has made a new idea that Russia should protect all the world, all the small nations across the globe to standing against the invasion of the Western values. And the Western values are an evil values, and definitely the liberalism, individualism, and modernity. And in various positions and cases, he named the modernity as the Antichrist, which should be resistance about that.
So, what is the dangerous point on this idea of Mr. Dugin?
The dangerous point is that he's changed the reality, the truth, because we know that I have explained that we know that the individualism and liberalism is an unavoidable result of the humanism. So, and the humanism is the only reliable reality in the world that we have. And the logic and obligated result of this reality is individualism. And liberalism is based on individualism. But Mr. Putin talks about Mr. Dugin talks about the traditions and about the roots of the nations, but these traditions are not defined. We don't know which tradition he means, and the traditions and the identity of the nations are not based on humanity sometimes. But in Western thought, we have opportunity to show the individualism. The most danger point of the Mr. Putin thinking is collectivism, and in collectivism is always kind of totalitarianism is hidden, and eventually he is trying to establish a type of the Russian collectivism across the globe. As we can see that ever Russia is, we can see an fight against democracy and fight against humanism.
Perfect. So as you mentioned before, this collectivism is this collectivistic idea of Mr. Dugin is a mixture of totalitarian fascist and totalitarian communist ideas. So his fourth theory is not really a fourth theory, but a mixture of communism and fascism opposing liberalism, which for him is the third theory in the world.
Yes, in my opinion, the point of the fourth theory is not the fourth theory by self. The focusing on the fourth theory is also an deviating point. The main point is that he has categorized the liberalism along with two other rejected theories, communism and fascism. So first he tries to make and to manipulate your mind by categorizing this in one categorize. And if you remember, I began last time my argument with an famous talk, famous quote from Charles Baudelaire. That
Baudelaire,
is,
yes.
if you remember, and we can see step by step in all theory of the Dugin this quote that he tries to give you, to deliver you, to put in your mind and a bug that you cannot first understand it, but later you can see that yes, he has some things injected to our mind, but not directly, but because we have focused in another concept, but the other concept, the other deviating concept is planted in our mind.
Lovely. Yes, so now after third part, we are heading towards the fourth part soon, where we will continue to delve into the depths and see the connection and the relation of Russian ideology of Mr. Dugin related to some Iranian ideologies, meaning some misusage of religion and Iranian school of thoughts.
Yes, surely.
Thank you.
Thank you.